get this running.
Right,
Just this.
Yeah.
You see me trying to find the audio problem.
You know, another audio problem you need to be careful with is, you know, when you're clinking the pens.
Oh,
yeah. But you know, you see a lot of people recapping the pens.
Yeah, I learned that from you last week. I just tossed them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I just tend to hold them in my hand. And if you have more than one in your hand, you tend to write with different colours as well.
Okay.
My preference, I don't really like the orange that much.
Okay.
That's probably my preference. I like the ones that really pop out. So these are probably my favourite.
That's what we found this morning.
The green, yellow, it's very hard to tell
the difference.
Yeah. I had a question. Somebody contacted me on YouTube and asked me, you know, what pens, and I said, oh, the XB Neons, and you know, he said, well, you know, $12 for a pack of 5. That's really expensive. Is there anything else? And I think the answer is really no. There's not. You can try liquid chalk, but it's just so hard to get off.
Oh right, never used it.
No.
Yeah. No,
and it doesn't really.
using.
Yeah, absolutely. But the good thing is that they last for a long time.
What lifespan of them?
I reckon 30, 40 videos.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they tend to get a bit blunt in the end, and you want to try and replace them. But you know, but they still last a long time.
Yeah.
What I wanted to talk to you about is a quant survey that I'm doing, quantitative survey, quantitative study that I'm doing at the moment on the perceptions. Is that right?
Yep.
On the perceptions of early career teachers of flipped learning. Okay, so for our Year 9 science, we have 4 early career teachers teaching that this year.
Right.
And essentially, the course has been going for a few years now, so on our learning management system, we have got all of the videos, and as well as that, we've got a workbook that's got pre-video questions and post-video questions for every one of the videos. And then there's some worksheets as well. So anyway, essentially the whole unit, every single thing that they need is there for them. So I did some interviews with them and asked them a series of questions. Firstly, you know, how do you run this in your class? And every single one of them said something different, which I think is really interesting. So even though, you know, there's a unit and it's intended to be flipped, they are all flipping it, but they're flipping it different ways. Right. Some are doing in flips, some are doing homework style flips.
Okay, that's
some are still doing
one.
more of a blended learning approach. So some of them, they're still teaching at the board for some of it. Right. 2 of these teachers have 2 classes each, and they're doing their 2 classes differently as well.
Is that by intent?
Yeah,
or is it just because of the class?
Well, yeah, no, it's exactly right. It's because of the class. So one of the important things they're telling me is the differentiation that this is allowing. Okay, because so that gives them the flexibility to be able to modify their pedagogy. Right. So I asked them, what do you think about having all of the videos and all of the resources provided for them? Because I was kind of thinking that they might be thinking, hey, what are you doing here? You know, like, let me run myself. And they said, without a doubt, unbelievable, the best thing ever, because they can focus on their pedagogy. They're not worrying about learning the content. They're thinking about how can I best teach it? How can I, and you know, and the classic thing, instead of them spending all of their lesson up at the board teaching it, what they're doing is they're spending time one-on-one with their students. And the differentiation and individuality.
So they're getting those relationships again from the word go, and they're not worried about this chalky talky business.
That's exactly right. And probably the last thing I've asked them is, so you know, so next year, not expecting to do it now, but for next year, are they interested in making videos? And they said, that's all I want to do. I want to do this with every one of my classes. Right. So I think I took that as a positive. Yeah. What do you reckon?
But see, I think the big positive as well, being early year teachers, what are they seeing when they see these videos? They're seeing experienced.
Yep.
It's a form of mentoring.
Yeah, true.
They can see how a teacher is building to it, highlighting it, revisiting.
Yes.
Because in your videos, you're constantly coming back and you're revisiting. Hey, now remember, we started with this premise. We got to this conclusion based on
So that's exactly right. It's building a concept, but it's building a unit as well. What they see is the whole thing, the whole unit.
Yeah. So it's a mentoring process that is, wow, again, one of the advantages of the flip and the video model. It's it's not time intensive. They get it because they're watching videos. And so they can see you in action, they can see other senior teachers in action.
Yeah.
And I just think it'd be great.
So look, there was one more question I had for them, and this is really important, I think, because when I have used other people's videos, I haven't liked it. I hated it because I felt that I wasn't teaching.
Right.
So I asked them, what do you think? And they said, you know what? Teaching just as much, if not more, but the good thing is teaching one-on-one and small groups.
Yeah.
So absolutely still teaching. So they haven't had a problem with it being, and I said, does it need to be somebody from the school? And they said, yes, definitely.
Right. Well, I think so too. I think they're right on the money there, because that context, the language we use, at least in our maths department, we've got a common language that we use. Yes. And there's what do they call it? Even in the new syllabus, they're those active verbs, that glossary of terms. Yeah. So when they say something in this external exam, think mathematically, we've got to be all on board. And the kids got to know, what does think mathematically mean? Oh, work in more than one way. Yeah. Not just graphical, not just algebraically. So they're the sort of things why I think in-house with a common theme,
imagine if every department was using that same language as well.
Well, life would be easier. Yeah, exactly. I think. But that's why I must admit that was one of the learning curves, is let someone else make a video and engage with their video. And it's another way the students can see a topic being presented. Yeah, that's true. So there's another perspective, another teaching style.
So one of the things I really got from this, I think, is that how to get other teachers engaged in flipped learning. Well, give them a resource and say, hey, why don't you give this a try? Yep. So they don't have to get bogged down, because they get freaked out with seeing how much work. Yeah. But what they don't understand is that work was 2 or 3 years worth of work. Yeah. You know, they just see the end product. They didn't see the first video.
They don't see here, they see here.
Yeah, they did not see the first video. So if I give them this and say, here you go, why don't you try this? They are so sold on the time they can spend in class with their kids that they're, by the end of it, they're ready to make their own stuff.
And see, they don't have the problem you and I probably had, is we had to discover how to use that active time.
Oh, true.
All right, we got this, I got 20 minutes back here.
That's right.
How do I use this? And how do I not go and just reteach what I did on the flip? Right? Because that's, we go back to, we always fall back to form.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Let's teach again.
Now, just in case, we'll hammer this again. Yeah. And that's when you've got to get, man of the people, get out and sit with the girls, sit with the students, and have those discussions.
Exactly.
You know, and use it. But
get that feedback.
I'm learning, this is the easy part.
Yes.
For me, that was the easy part, because it's tech and it's got bells and whistles and flashing lights. Right. But going back in the classroom and really using it properly, the active, John Bergman keeps talking about this active learning space.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
Okay, and how well are you using it? Yeah. What are you doing? He says, that's the key. Yeah. Okay, and that's what makes a difference.
Active learning, exactly right. So what do you do in your group space? Active learning. Absolutely. Cool. Well, let's stop it.